A huge protest in the Piedmont leads to confrontation and arrests.
These disturbing images were part of the evening news in Greensboro, North Carolina, during late 1995 and early 1996. The local media used these pictures to portray the events, but telling the story of the Kmart workers demands more than sound bites and video clips.
We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved.
When the Kmart distribution center opened in Greensboro in 1992, the building was not yet completed. Working conditions were extremely harsh. The building lacked proper ventilation, heating, and restroom facilities, and on-the-job injuries were common. Some workers encountered racial discrimination and sexual harassment. Workers took their concerns to management, but no progress was made. In September of 1993, the workers voted to join the Amalgamated Clothing and Textile Workers Union, which in 1995 became UNITE, the Union of Needle Trades, Industrial, and Textile Employees. Through the union, the Greensboro workers learned that their wages and benefits were substantially inferior to those of other Kmart workers across the country.
Issues are very simple. It's about what's right and it's about what's wrong. Kmart is guilty in Greensboro, North Carolina, of coming to Greensboro, North Carolina to pay workers less than they do anywhere in America, and that is wrong.
All right.
Kmart is guilty of coming to Greensboro, North Carolina and paying workers less because of the color of their skin, and that is wrong.
In the fall of 1995, after more than a year of unconstructive bargaining with the Kmart Corporation, the workers called for a boycott of Kmart until a fair contract could be attained. Many other people in Greensboro were ready to show their concern over low wages and mistreatment at the Kmart distribution center. The Pulpit Forum, a local group of African American clergy, had been involved with the workers' struggle for over a year. Now they called for community support of the boycott, and many of Greensboro's citizens answered the call.
The problem is this, that there must have been something about this community which suggested to Kmart that of all the places in the nation, it could come here, take up residence, and pay people less than any place else in the nation.
Now,
that community has a problem. What is it about Greensboro that would commend it to such a situation when these wages and these conditions are not adequate? If we didn't know that, and if we were not aware of it, then we should thank the Kmart workers for helping lift this reality before us so that we can solve it and make progress on it, and we can solve it.
And I represent the Friends of the Poor People's Organization, which is a group of middle-class white folks who are now looking to take our place at the table, so to speak, and say we want to provide our support as well.
Well, we couldn't get any results from the company after time and time again and repeated efforts of trying to get some kind of consideration from the company to address the problem. They chose not to, and the problem just escalated. And it had gotten to the point where the workers just said enough. So if I have to be back out there looking for another job, so be it. It must be God's will. Mm-hmm. But as long as there's breath in me, and as long as I have a 13-year-old son and I'm a single parent, and I want that child to have the best upbringing and the best chance of a good future that I can give him. And it's my duty and my obligation as his mother to provide the best that I can give him. And if that means going up against a giant such as the Kmart Corporation, then so be it. But I won't be standing alone.
Did you know that corporate America doesn't care any more about a working class white man than they do a black man? We've got to do this together.
We've got to believe that caring for families is more important than caring for the bottom line. That the bottom line will begin to take care of itself when we take care of one another, when we take care of every last single worker, when we take care of the resources of this world. Then we can pull out of that spiral, and we can do something with the resources we've been given, the knowledge, the know-how. We've got to do a new thing, folks.
I know that no one should work and be underpaid. There's no excuse for it. We have to stand up and change this. I worked many places, and I know I did good work for which I was not paid. And I can sympathize with you. I'm standing with you because I know your cause is worthy.
We're here to say wherever injustice happens to be, we shall stand there and stand until the day of judgment comes if necessary.
Clergy, church members, business people, students, teachers, other union members, and concerned citizens joined with the workers in peaceful, nonviolent demonstrations. From January through March, hundreds of citizens participated in rallies at the Super Kmart and downtown Greensboro, with more than 150 arrests for civil disobedience.
This is what the Lord requires. The Lord requires that we love justice, do mercy, and walk humbly with our God. And I come today to tell you that we are standing for justice. And I tell you that there is some mercy and love for the people on Martin Luther King Street and for the Kmart workers. My brothers and sisters, we are doing a good thing. We're doing a right thing, and we'll keep on doing it until justice comes.
The clergy of the Pulpit Forum convened with local business leaders to provide a forum for discussing the community issues brought to light by the Kmart workers' struggle. Resisting the temptation to classify the dispute as simply racial, union, or labor versus management, the group persisted in finding ways to address the interests of the community at large.
We can't recruit businesses in order to take advantage of a low standard of living. We need to recruit businesses to help raise that standard of living.
Let's be serious. You don't have to have a solution. You have to have a commitment to find one, and together we can do it.
On July 25, 1996, Kmart workers reached a contract agreement with Kmart. The contract increased the starting wage to equal the average of all Kmart distribution centers and included clauses for non-discrimination and new grievance procedures. On September 8th, a town meeting was hosted by the Business Pulpit Forum work group. This meeting was a product of the dialogue established by various members of the Greensboro community throughout the Kmart struggle. It stands as a symbol of what resulted from Kmart. What had potentially been a divisive nightmare in the community had been persistently altered by those involved to produce open, honest, and varied communication between diverse groups.
The issue is what you're going through and what you're feeling is business as usual. And business as usual has hurt a lot of people.
Nothing we do, however virtuous, can be accomplished alone. Therefore, we must be saved by love. No virtuous act is quite as virtuous from the standpoint of our friend or foe as it is from our standpoint.
Does Greensboro have a strong desire to see all of its citizens succeed? Is Greensboro challenged to go beyond the ordinary in the interest of its people?
Greensboro, don't be so quick to judge those on public assistance as being lazy or don't want to work. You do have those who are trying very hard to be self-sufficient and still keep running across barriers that keep them from doing so.
Almighty Creator, we are reminded now that at one time you troubled the waters, and after troubling the waters caused healing for a man. Through a situation called Kmart, through a labor dispute, you have troubled the waters in Greensboro. And even as you have troubled our waters, you have made us stand up and notice that we have healing as a result of the troubling.
Perhaps the most meaningful outcome of the Kmart struggle is a renewed belief in the power of quality conversations and honest engagement of community issues. The task before all of us is to commit to working together to find new solutions to old problems.